I think that's, if not the most important part about choosing your ministry and choosing where you're going to go. I think you see it way too many times when there's a pastor or there's a missionary who believes God's called him to a certain place, but the rest of his family is not on board.
Mm,
And
yeah,
it's very obvious when you see that, and it's, I think, very dangerous when that
it
happens,
is. Hmm.
because like your family is your first ministry, and to see that break apart within the first couple of weeks because you've wanted to move but they didn't,
Yeah,
and they're left in a very tough situation because they're believing that, you know, we're in God's will at the moment, so I'm meant to be happy about this but I'm not. And so they start questioning themselves a lot. They start doubting their faith. They start doubting their own relationship with God just because it wasn't checked with them, you know,
mm,
and it wasn't, the prayer process wasn't done with them, and it wasn't a
sure.
family decision. It was more, dad said we're doing this, so we're just going to go.
Yeah.
And
No, I think that's so true. That's such a good point, and I've seen a lot of that almost that dogmatic. Well, I'm the man of the house. This is my decision. We're going, and
mm,
it's your responsibility to go with me. And yes, God gave the man the role of leadership within the household, but He gave a spouse because it was the helpmeet, and it's not the man's job just to lord over and beat his wife over the head with this is what we're going to do and just
mm,
deal with it. It's for them to be together. It's for them to work through things together, and like you said, in the prayer process of it all, your spouse needs to be included in the counsel. Your wife should be your biggest counselor, your biggest confidant. Um, because if God is going to move your family, He's going to prepare your family.
yeah,
And there was even a church before that I was like, wow, this is an awesome church. I'd love to go there. But God wasn't doing the same thing in my wife's heart. And He
mm,
was telling her, no, 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 no. See, and I was caught up in, well, look at the opportunity. But I kind of took a step back and said, okay, well, this is really where God has us. Then why isn't He telling my wife the same thing? And we
wow,
went through some other things, and then through other counsel, I've learned that okay, this is not what we're supposed to do.
yeah, well,
And so sometimes, as a guy, I don't necessarily think of everything, and
yeah,
so I just like, concentrate on one cool thing or one cool aspect about it, and say, ah, let's go. But God has given you that partner, and God has given you that person in your life, and they're also the one that balances you out. And so, if God is not doing that work in both of your lives, um, then you got to stop for a moment and say, okay, something's off here. And so now let's go back and let's work through this. Um, but your family truly is, like you said, your first ministry, and that's paramount. And so you have to make sure that if you're going to make a move, especially across the country away from family,
yeah,
you better be sure that God has done this work in both your lives. If not, it's better to stay back, don't go, make sure your family that you're called to is taken care of, and then let God work out the details. But stick to your family. Don't tear your family apart for ministry.